Well, I'm praying because I'm scared that my time is running soon. And I pray because I fear that I've got too much to lose. When your Savior came a-knocking, were you ready to be free? Would you ask her up in heaven to save a place for me? I'm not asking for salvation, but I am afraid to fly. We all want to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. And I'm choosing to be faithful, to have something to hold on to. When I can see the valley, I'll begin my search for you.
Leyla McCalla is a young woman who was born in New Jersey and grew up in New Jersey, spent some time in Ghana as a teenager, has lived in New Orleans for several years, and has just put out her first CD.
On that album, she's taken the poetry of Langston Hughes and blended it with her own original music and the Haitian Creole folk tradition. Tonight, playing several instruments, Leyla McCalla will perform here at our Brick House Stoop series. But we've got her here right now first. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Leyla.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's start. How would you describe your music for us?
Well, I play cello, I play tenor banjo, and I play guitar. And so it's definitely acoustic music. Tonight I'll be accompanied by a fiddle player and an upright bassist. But the music itself, I guess, sort of spans the range of American folk and some Haitian traditional folk. But I guess it's mostly experimental because it's not really like I'm following a map.
Are you classically trained or?
Yeah, I studied classical music for years, and actually graduated from NYU in 2007 with a degree in cello performance and classical music. But I have since then gone a different path.
Yeah, you said you play all those different instruments. How do you get into that when you're young and growing up? How did you realize you had a knack for not just music, but learning all those instruments?
Well, it's funny. I actually just took up the tenor banjo in the past few years. I started learning a lot more about the banjo tradition in Haiti and as well as in New Orleans. I moved to New Orleans in 2010 and started learning more about traditional jazz and sort of just the history of the banjo. And so the banjo is the newest instrument to me. Guitar, I taught myself when I was about 13. One of my best friends' moms is a folk musician, and so I was just really inspired by seeing them being able to just pick up an instrument and play. And so she taught me a few chords, and then I kind of taught myself through guitar tablature online.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Wow.
So Langston Hughes.
Hughes.
Prolific writer. What sort of drew you to his work that made you, what drew you to his work that wanted you to use his poetry in collaboration with your music?
Well, I guess I found his poetry to be extremely moving. I think Langston Hughes has an incredible way of portraying complex ideas with very simple words, and taking on some of the most pressing social issues of his time and I feel of our time now. And so I felt that his words had a power that was very timeless, and that inspired me to write music to his poetry. I think it was also at a time in my life that I was wanting to write music, but I wasn't quite ready to put my own words to my own music, and so his poetry kind of gave me a construct to develop musical ideas around as well.
That's great. Now let's go back to your background. You're born in New York, you grew up in New Jersey, Haiti, Ghana, New Orleans. Now you live in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Now, how have these places influenced your music, your career thus far?
Yeah, I think some of them just are part of my life experience, and some of them were real turning points for me creatively. I was born in New York, had lived in New Jersey from when I was 5 till about 15, and my family relocated to Accra, Ghana, in West Africa. And I lived there for a couple of years, and I sort of took a break from classical music and from the sort of rigor of the education I was receiving in that. And when I moved back to the United States, I was a senior in high school, and I was in school with kids that I hadn't been in school with since 8th grade in Maplewood, New Jersey. I wasn't ready for conservatory auditions, and so I went to Smith College for a year and really practiced hard, studied with a guy there named John Sessions, auditioned for NYU, transferred to NYU, and continued with my classical studies. But when I moved back to New York, I met a really incredible cellist named Rufus Cappadocia, who I actually met through my aunt, Sarah Dupuis, who's also a singer and a songwriter. And she brought me to a party, and I saw cello playing in a Haitian roots music band. And it just, yeah, exactly. It was like, bing, bing, bing. And I fell in love with his playing, and I just remember looking at him and saying, I want to do that.
Wow.
Whatever that is, I want to do that.
That's great. Now we know you have this new CD out. We want to talk about that. We also want to talk about what is it like being an independent artist? Did you go to the internet for some of the funds on this album, and what kind of music is on this album?
Yeah, I think, this album really, I started the project of writing to Langston Hughes' poetry about 5 or 6 years ago when I had graduated from college.
Now, was that an exercise, or did you do that knowing that?
I think at first it was more an exercise, but the songs, I think the more I played the songs for people, the more that people liked them. And before I moved to New Orleans, I had a friend who actually plays in Antibalas Afrobeat Orchestra, who had a little home studio, who said, you really got to record these songs before you leave. And so I made some recordings. I made an EP, and then I had a CD of 4 songs, and I was like, okay, well, this is the most like a CD I've ever had, and I didn't know what to do with it or where to go with it. And so it took a couple of years to sort of realize that this album was not just about me composing music to Langston Hughes' poetry. It's really about me kind of figuring out that I want to be an artist and asserting that, and also kind of delving into my heritage and my identity, and finding pieces of that through these songs. And so the album really came together in New Orleans after I'd taken up banjo and done more research about Haitian folk music and New Orleans jazz and sort of the historical and cultural intersections of all of those things.
That's great.
Did you produce the album yourself, or?
I co-produced the album with a guy named Joe DeJarnette, who lives in Floyd, Virginia.
Great. And
has sort of like a bed and breakfast / recording studio. So I stayed there for 5 days, and just recorded over that time.
And what's the album called? Did you raise money on Kickstarter for this?
Yes.
How was that? Are you still paying people back for that or whatever? However it works? You got to send them hugs or something?
Well, I think most people have received the CDs. There's been a few, few stragglers.
Yeah, I didn't get mine yet.
Did you contribute?
Yeah, anonymous. $5,000 right here, anonymous.
I don't
Aaron
remember
Watkins.
that.
That was me.
Well, the Kickstarter.
What was that process like, the Kickstarter?
I decided to go with Kickstarter because I had heard of it being successful for many other artists over many other projects, and Kickstarter sort of had developed a reputation that I felt like would add credibility to the project. And so I went into it and I was just like, I know I have to do this. I felt like the time is right, If I don't make this album now, then it won't be out when I want it to be out. And so I went for it and I asked for $5,000, which was like the absolute bare minimum to get this just physically made, paying the musicians and all that kind of stuff. And the people at Kickstarter put out a weekly newsletter. And they liked my video, they liked the project, they were excited about it, and so they shared it on their newsletter, and it goes out to about 1 million people throughout the world. So all of a sudden I had people from New Zealand saying, good luck, Layla, we love the project. And
so not only did you hit $5,000, did you go over that?
Yes, I raised.
How much money did you raise?
I ended up raising, I think, $21,000.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
It's a great resource for artists who. I think one of the things that really helped my campaign is that I was very clear about what I was doing. I was very clear in my intention, and
What's the name
I
of the
think
album?
that came across to people. The album is called Very Colored Songs.
Very Colored Songs.
Yeah.
I want to say too, tonight on BRIC Stoop, you're going to be performing. The Haiti Cultural Exchange is doing the interview. What are you looking forward to at that event tonight here at BRIC?
I think that, I lived in Brooklyn for many years, and it feels like a homecoming to me, so it's really exciting to be here. I'm really excited that the show is free, that anyone can just walk in. I have a lot of family and very dear friends of mine who will be coming to the show tonight, and so, it's a lot of people who were around when I just started thinking about writing my own music and writing my own songs, and I think that they're as excited as I am to share the songs.
That's awesome. I know everyone here at BRIC is very excited for
Absolutely.
tonight. Very excited for your album too.
Yeah.
You got to check it out. Layla, thank you.
Where can people find the album?
People can find the album on my website, www.leylamccalla.com.
That's great. And we're going to have
it's also on iTunes and Amazon and all that kind of stuff, but the best way to get it is through me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to go to the
Here
website.
tonight.
Yeah, you can see her here tonight. You're also going to play us a song as you play us out at BK Live today.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that. What song are you going to be playing for us?
I'm going to actually be playing the title, I guess it's the title track. The song is called Heart of Gold, but it comes from a Langston Hughes poem called Very Colored Song, and I'd like to dedicate this one to my grandmother.
Okay.
If I had a heart of gold, as some folks I know, I'd up and sell my heart of gold and head north with the dough. But I don't have a heart of gold, my heart's not even lead. It's made of plain old Georgia clay, and that's why my heart is red. I wonder why red clay is so red and Georgia sky so blue. I wonder why it's yes to me, but yes sir closer to you. I wonder why the sky is so blue and why the clay's so red. Why down south is always down and never up instead.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Leyla McCalla, you got to check out her new album. You can find it on her own website. Go to that. And also see her tonight here at BRIC House, 647 Fulton Street, right here in Brooklyn tonight at 7 p.m. You can check out Leyla here live. Leyla, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching BK Live. We'll see you again tomorrow at 12.